Have you ever seen someone call the cops and it backfired on them? 1. Oh yes, I'm an FAA licensed UAS, drone, pilot, and after a huge hailstorm I was hired by a homeowner's insurance company to inspect a roof in a fancy neighborhood for a damage claim. I did everything by the book, including knocking on neighbors' doors before flying to tell them what I was doing, and leaving sticky notes on the doors where nobody answered the doorbell. I was in full PPE of hard hat, safety glasses and high-vis vest with pilot and command printed on the back. I delineated my LZ and standing area, on the sidewalk in front of the house, with cones and caution tape. But 5 minutes into the flight, an irate lady comes storming out of her house next door, one of those who didn't answer when I rang the doorbell, and starts screaming at the top of her lungs at me about spying on her and that I was a pervert, creep and predator and that she was going to call the police. I calmly explained to her what I was doing, and said please read the note on the door which was on my company letterhead, and please leave me alone. It's illegal to interfere with the pilot operating an aircraft. Drones are treated exactly like Cessnas and 737s in the law. Imagine the trouble you'd be in if you did that on a Southwest Airlines flight. And please, go ahead and call the police. I of course continued the flight and didn't say another word to her, but she just got more angry, screamed louder, and started making threats. I couldn't really call the police myself. I was the pilot in command and had my hands full. She finally came charging at me, right through the cones and caution tape, and tried to grab the controller out of my hands. Very dangerous thing to do. That drone would seriously injure somebody if it crashed and hit them. At that exact moment the squad car comes around the corner, the 2 officers pile out and immediately drag her away from me. She's now screaming obscenities at them too. One cop asks to see my pilot's license and work order. I'm still flying so I tell him both are in the pouch on the back of my vest. Just pull them out and call the FAA to verify my pilot's license. Which they do. End result, she got a trip to the police station in handcuffs. I heard later, no jail time, but a $5,000 fine, anger management classes, and many hours of community service. And now the only procedure I've changed is that I always have a second person with me when flying, technically an observer in FAA parlance, but in reality to run interference for me if I ever run into that situation again. I have to charge more for each to hire the observer, but after that experience, I'll never fly my drone alone again. 2. My now ex-wife wanted me out of the house and her life after I caught her red-handed having an affair. My relief called in sick so I had to pull a double shift. I got home and went right to bed, only to be woke up by her wailing away on me with a shoe. I picked her up and carried her out into the living room and gently tossed her on the couch, locked the bedroom door and went back to sleep. It wasn't long and there was a knock on the door. It was a couple cops. She had called them to report I was abusing her. They said I would have to accompany them to the station. Then I looked up at them. Their whole attitude shifted. They handcuffed her and put her in the back of the squad car. One of the cops told me I should clean myself up. Apparently she'd nailed me with a shoe and I had blood running down my face. I went to sleep. She went to jail. Couldn't have worked out any better.